Hello and welcome to ECOTIMES.TV magazine podcast. Today we've got a special guest, David Katz from plasticbank.org. I'm your host, Alex Strong. David, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Alex. Thank you very much for the invitation.
No worries, no worries. So you're going to highlight an important issue today about the plastic situation and kind of what you're doing to help solve that problem. So if you could lead in and kind of give us a background, David, of what it is you do and how we can move forward and save our planet.
Yeah, thanks, Alexander. And it's totally rock star. I mean, it's shows like this. It's the conversation about this that's so important. And really, so what do I do? You know, I'm an entrepreneur and ultimately I look for solutions. And when I can look at a problem, I've got this kind of crazy ability to turn around and go, hey, where's the opportunity? And I think that there's great opportunity in this catastrophe, which it is. And we continue to see the further degradation of our entire planet, and it shows itself. My litmus test is the bellies of birds and the bellies of fish, and how much plastic is appearing in our environment and the animals around us. Now, that being said, I look at that and say, oh my gosh, there's 8 trillion pounds of plastic sitting on the earth. Almost all the plastic that we've ever produced is still on the earth. We continue to produce more plastic when all we need to do is go and make the plastic that's already sitting there. And I think that the real challenge is showing the value in it again. And it's just that because it's in the shape of a bottle, sometimes people think that it's worthless, where it's not. Plastic is between 50 cents and $1 per pound. If we're looking at 8 trillion pounds of plastic on the earth, it's an $8 trillion market. Well, let's start going to mine it. Let's go back into the landfills and get it. And let's ultimately reveal the value to the people who need it the most. And so that they can find an entrepreneurial opportunity in it and go out and create micro-recycling programs where there are none and help stop the flow of plastics into our environment by showing people how valuable it is. And more importantly, I think how valuable people are around the world as well. And create an environment where we can inspire entrepreneurs to also create entrepreneurial solutions around this.
But I just love the concept. Is amazing in terms of micro recycling. I've seen on your website that you've got a 3D printing from recycled ocean plastic, which sounds amazing.
Epic as well, because the whole idea is to reveal value. Yeah. And so the plastic bank's got three core principles, core values, and it's the love people most importantly, and that is the exhibit the love of the planet and the people, and the people are especially in disadvantage. And, to reveal value, of course, to reveal value in people and reveal value in plastic, and to continuously improve. And when we take all of those and we look at an opportunity, because I focus that this is a business, right? And I know that it's the business solution to poverty. And I know when I can look at this and say, hey, if I can make this a business and give it great value and give other people the opportunity to unleash their own army of entrepreneurs to go and find solutions, one of the ways we look at it is to gamify it. And so let's gamify it. So we had a team of UBC, of University of British Columbia, out of Vancouver. We got a team of engineers, and they got together and we said, hey, you know what? Wow, wouldn't it be amazing if we could make our own 3D printing filament? Because right now it's like the most expensive plastic on the planet.
Oh, really?
It's very incredibly expensive plastic because of the tolerance and clarity and things. But we said, hey, you know what, guys, let's make a tabletop. If we can make a tabletop machine that we can go into the environment, bring the plastic back that has been polluting the environment and turn that into a filament that then we can then create anything out of. Well, oh, wow, that's a complete reveal in the value of not just the plastic, but a reveal in the creativity of the people that come with the problem. Because perhaps one of the ideas is that they go out and we create a micro-recycling entrepreneur that goes out and works with small motorbike or scooter shops. He creates a program where he's collecting all the plastic, all the oil containers and everything for recycling, but then has a little bit of a market. And they say, hey, you know what, if we could, create like a little sprocket, or if you could print us a component, that would be of giant value. And now it might be worth 100x of the plastic that they've collected. So they could print it locally and then resell it as well.
It sounds a game changer, David.
It's a game changer, totally. It's the whole creativity and bringing additive manufacturing, micro manufacturing into the small communities that don't have it. I mean, anything could be printed, and the more that they collect, the more time they would have on the 3D printer, so that they could affect more and do more, look for ideas. We just got a nice grant. We're very fortunate. People are excited by what we're doing. And now we want to build out a crowd platform that allows collectors to submit problems to the crowd, where the crowd, who might have design backgrounds or CAD backgrounds, the ability to submit design ideas that could be printed locally and then maybe shared around the world as well. Again, revealing value in everything. That's the idea. And I know that is it.
Can't we look at it like, in terms of this 3D printing situation, can't we say we crowdfunded with all our listeners and all the amazing eco people who actually care about the world out there. Can we kind of crowdfund where we have some of these amazing 3D printing machines and kind of one based in every country, if not more, but say one, for example, and then have the process where it can kind of change the plastic so it can be used within the machine and for sellable product or whatever. So I don't know. That's me thinking out loud.
And on. And ultimately, the machines are not that expensive. They become more and more stable all the time. And there's challenges around it, of course, but it's always just a question that needs to be solved. I don't get stumped by the questions. I'm just stumped by my ability to find the creative solution around it. And you can put a small $5,000 machine, which can print at a very high quality, in every little plastic bank center. It's really just the amount of plastic that we're pulling from the environment that supports it. And then be able to ship people filament or have them remanufactured on site. It doesn't even have to be one per country. It's not expensive.
David, I went to Web Summit in Ireland, and I met some very clever entrepreneurs who are in the 3D printing business. Oh, yeah. And some big players, actually. And obviously they're doing houses, they're doing all sorts of crazy stuff with 3D printing.
Yes.
But thinking out loud, wouldn't it be amazing to kind of get the partnership with the plasticbank.org so that people collect all the plastic, it gets processed at one of these central kind of plants or whatever, and then you've got that agreement with the big 3D printers to for say a discounted price, sell it all to them straight away. So
awesome. Yeah, Alexander, you're thinking appropriately. That's the idea. See, you're trying to figure out how to better reveal value. That's why your podcast is so important. That's why the conversation with the community is important. And I tell you that it's really only a lens, Alexander. It's only the way that we see the world. And I think that the challenge today is we have so many people who are so vocal about the environment, and it's so important. And I'm so thankful that they are, because everyone needs to know what's happening. But the challenge is that they are totally focused on the problem. And we need more and more people that look at it and go, oh, okay, yeah, problem, sure, I get it. What's the solution? How do I fix it? We've got so many people out there.
Yeah, David, we just need to form a group of all the top, say 50 3D printing companies.
And figure out solutions. Amen.
Yeah, figure out but how we can get that plastic to them for, to be processed for that specific.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Right.
Let's
do everything. Let's get it done. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. And so from the plastic bank, really, so that's one component, which is very powerful, because we want to influence the communities. I want to give the collector themselves, the recycling entrepreneur, the opportunity to have creativity, or give their children the opportunity to have the creativity. So they can say, oh, Dad, what about this? Or what about that? Oh, let's get the world to help us. Oh, wow. And let's print that. Let's create. And that's hope. When I can create, when I can transcend the situation that is given to me, and have some, hope. I mean, that changes everything, of course. And then on a high level, really out of our, our developed markets, what we are is, really the opportunity to brand that plastic. So we're social plastic. That's our global trademark. And that really on a high level is a volume opportunity for the great brands of the world to exhibit through action their commitment to the environment by using plastic that's been collected by the poor.
a game changer there again, David. So instead of just the 3D printers, let's get all the big manufacturers on board. And get the G20 and all that.
That's the idea. So it's business though. Like I don't even need the G20. I don't think. I think that I just need to make it marketable.
No, but if the G20 are behind you, then it adds another level of clout in terms of
it does
kind of mass global kind of let's all come together and sort this plastic situation out. Because I was speaking to a lovely lady from the Five Guys website, and she was saying, you know, I was saying earlier, but it's saying that there's, I think, 200,000 or 300,000 tons of plastic in the ocean, and that plastic is getting churned up so much, it's getting really kind of really tiny, and the fish are taking it on board, and then obviously we catch a fish, and then we're eating the fish, and we're ending up with these, cancer plastic chemicals within our bloodstream. So,
etc.
We need to move. We need to move forward.
Well, and see, and this is the conversation. I think that it's important as well to know that it's not just going out to the ocean to pick up that plastic, but most importantly, we have to make plastic so valuable that it doesn't end up in the ocean to begin with. And that really is just giving people the knowledge that it is of high value, and that it's pound for pound worth more than steel. It's petroleum in the end. You take a liter or a kilo of plastic, it's a liter of petrol. So, I mean, are you going to pass that by? Are you just going to take a liter of petrol and throw it out? No, you look at petrol as money, but yet you look at plastic as disposable. It's ridiculous.
I would like to thank our sponsor this week, which is ECOTIMES magazine. They cover everything green. Magazine is on the iPad and iPhone. They cover eco travel, amazing eco travel resorts, organic recipes, so amazing recipes to cook, eco gadgets, what's the latest gadgets in eco, amazing eco transport, so battery powered bikes, hybrid cars, battery powered cars, renewable energy, what's the latest in renewable energy, in terms of all the different innovative ways we can get energy. Eco how-to, so for example, how to build your own solar panel or own house or something along those lines. They cover eco architecture, so like eco building. They cover tiny houses, which are amazing small houses on wheels, which you should definitely check out if you haven't seen them. They cover all eco news, so what's been going on in the week, and organic food growing techniques. Anything green really, and it's a weekly magazine, and it's on the iPad and iPhone or iTunes. So the link is below, so please enjoy. And now we get back to the show. Thank you very much. So David, can you kind of give us, the audience, a kind of overview of the recycling process of plastic that we can collect and sort this situation out?
Well, it's all recyclable in the end. Not every community has the ability to recycle everything, but there's, even in the developing nations, there's, I was just in Jakarta, this last week, and I visit these beautiful organizations that as well even go into the community, find plastic that isn't readily available to recycle, and they even craft out of it. I mean, there's value out of everything in the end if you just look at it the right way. And
how do they do it though, David?
They take it and they sew and they create jobs, and so they take these like old billboards that are plastic based, and they create like these cool like computer bags and purses out of them and stuff, and it's like a totally
sorry, on a mass scale.
On a mass scale.
How do they take the plastic, so you get from your bin, and then you I don't know, do you burn it or how do you reprocess that ready to be plastic?
Yeah, well, it gets chipped and remelted in the end, and it kind of mixed up and made into a pellet again. It's pretty straightforward. It's not dramatic. You can add some additives to it to build the strength of it again. You can change it a little bit, but it's not it takes 1/10 of the energy to recycle plastic. I would actually argue it's about 1/100th of the energy to recycle plastic than it is to make a new plastic pellet. If you consider, and I've got a great conversation about a plastic spoon, how everyone, plastic cutlery, everyone thinks is, free or disposable because you pick them up at the counter everywhere, it's free. But if you go back and trace it to the engineers and miners that had to go and find the hole to drill to create a platform that goes and drills oil and brings the oil out of the ground and then transports that and then refines it. And then once the petroleum's refined, it's shipped to a plastics manufacturer, and that plastics manufacturer, and they're a few $100 million facility, creates a pellet, and then that gets shipped to a spoon manufacturer. Spoon manufacturer makes a spoon, puts into a box, puts into a crate, ships it around the world on a freight, on some boat, and then it gets trucked again, and a warehouse, and then eventually onto the store, and then onto the shelves, and then you drive in your SUV to go get the spoon. And for some reason we think it's free, but it's not. So there's a high value in it, right? So to take the plastic that's already been through that whole process and just to chip it up and then melt it and reform it again, that's a fraction of the expense and time and energy that went into getting you that plastic. So and it's just as good.
So who are the big manufacturers utilizing plastic? I mean, kind of geographically, is it kind of China based where all these big factories are?
And listen, I'm not, I'm going to have a conversation, but I do not purport myself to be an expert in this field at all. However, my knowledge, my understanding is that because most of our manufacturing is coming out of China, that's why there is they're a huge consumer of plastic, huge consumer of recycled plastic as well. Of course, they're all looking for recycled plastic, because currently it still is less expensive than a virgin, and that makes a lot of sense. And they're looking for feedstock, and they want good, clean feedstock. We got to a point where they put up what they called the green curtain, because everyone was shipping all of their dirty plastic, and it was a mess, and everyone was just shipping garbage to them, and then they were landfilling it, which was a huge mistake.
Oh no.
Right. So China didn't want that. Like, ship us good, clean plastic. It's a different conversation.
What's the difference then? And how can you, say clean plastic versus dirty plastic? Can't you just clean it and then it can be recycled, or is it not?
Yeah, it's best to do with the source. So, like for instance, again, not being an expert, but I'll just express what I have come to learn.
Yeah.
Is that, like, if you take a plastic bottle and then you stuff your wrappers in it, and then you throw in some sand, and you send that to that's not going to get recycled, right? That's not, just because Western culture is the expense of recycling and all that stuff. That's just going to get landfilled because it's dirty plastic. Now, there's even some challenges in some places where you've got a different colored cap on top of the bottle. Now, that cap, first off, may be a different type of plastic than the PET in the bottle itself. And so that's now mixed plastic, and they won't be able to be recycled together. And as well, if you take a different colored cap on top of a clear bottle, that will influence the value of that plastic, because if you take clear and add blue to it, well, it's never going to be clear again. So those are issues as well. So that would be one of my, by the way, conversations with some of your consumers, or one of your listeners rather.
I'll tell you what, David. There's a gentleman, inventor / hacker, that works for the Gates Foundation. And this is a guy you need, David, to come up with a kind of super recycling plastic machine, because it sounds like that's what we need, because like you were saying, there's problems recycling dirty plastic versus different kinds of plastic.
It's been solved, though. It's been solved, Alexander. I'll tell you that Mike Biddle, one of the world's foremost experts in plastics, and we hope very soon will be a part of our full-time team. Yeah. He created MBA polymers, so it's Mike Biddle and Associates Polymers. He's created and as a foremost expert in plastics, he's created a patented process that you can take any plastic, chip it, shred it, chip it. That's cleaned, totally separated, all the different grades of plastics or types of plastics, and then color sorted as well. So we just need more of those.
How much are they?
Oh, I think it's like 50 million a plant or something like that. But that's big still, right? So
wow. But in terms of how much that can recycle, how much come out of recycle? Tons, I'm guessing.
Tons, and the market for MBA is the auto industry, because they're, it turns out I've come to learn that automobiles are probably the highest recycled item in the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They just put it through huge shredders, and everything separates, and they separate the plastic, and then there's some metal. And so they figured out how to work with the auto manufacturers and take all the plastic out of the automobiles and then separate it by color as well. So, very important as well.
Could this gentleman, who's hats off to this gentleman, could he invent a slightly smaller version, so that with lesser costs and more, so each country could have one and start tackling the problem?
That's what we're hoping for. Yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm hoping for. Now, it's all business, right? So business solutions, you've got to exit that one thing. And, it's coming. It's all coming. I'm convinced, Alexander, that the world is going to be amazingly clean and beautiful and respected. And it's just coming. And we need more conversation. And we need to have people know that they need to be focused on solutions and that there's opportunity in the solution. That's where the opportunity lies. It's in creating value, building value, and you're rewarded for building value. So more of an entrepreneurial solution. Everyone needs to know that they have to stop just talking about the problem. I mean, that's important.
Yeah, talk is cheap. We want action.
Cheap. Exactly. So, and then just talking about it, that diminishes the problem itself, because you become even more powerful.
Because
when you become
used to it.
Yeah, and you become used to it, and then what happens as well? People don't want to hear bad news all the time. So as soon as you start talking about the environment, they're like, "Oh no, I don't want to hear it." Well, they certainly want to be able to hear about, hey, you know what? I discovered a way to, make lots of money. Well, okay, that's a different conversation for some, right?
Well, you have, haven't you, David?
I think so. That's exactly. And I want to keep promoting it. Like, my whole mission, ultimately, my lifetime mission, is to continue to reveal the power in the entrepreneur as the solution to the ills of the world.
I think, David, that if you can get this gentleman on board, that the thing would be to bring, say, a slightly discounted cost, but then get the G20 on board, which I'm sure is not an easy thing, but once they're on board, they'll be on board. What's it called? And then a central bank of each country in the world can buy one, because 50 million to me or you is quite a lot of money. Well, it is a lot of money, but to a central bank, a country, it's, when they've got billions and trillions in assets, it's still a lot of money, but it's more achievable.
Well, see, here's the conversation as well, remembering that there's, two things we can do. There's two actions. We can work on either what's urgent or we can work on what's important. Urgent is the millions and billions going into the problems of, still water collection that breeds mosquitoes, and the mess and the sewage collection. And then like in Jakarta, they have like so much plastic waste that they have floods because the sewer system can't take it. And then the whole city floods from sewage. Well, what's that expense? What's that expense in lost productivity? So urgent is going and cleaning up that mess. Important would be to keep it from happening to begin with, which is to make that, $50 million investment and to give an opportunity to reveal value in plastics. They don't have to work on urgent. They don't have to work on floods anymore. They don't have to work on the catastrophe that ensues. It's critically important that they make that investment up front. It's a fraction of the expense. Fraction.
Yeah, it seems a no-brainer. And
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it seems if they had some sort of government incentive, so say the people who haven't got some, jobs out there, they could grab a plastic and, if they know they're going to get, £1,000 by so many kilos of plastic, they'll be wealthy in no time.
No question. Exactly. Just go create micro recycling entrepreneurs. Like, a lot of the countries we go to, they don't even have the road infrastructure. We're lucky. Listen, you're I'm in Vancouver, a beautiful modern city, new city in the end. Our roads can support heavy trucks, and we have fleets of $300,000 trucks on the road going out and collecting plastic. That's just not an option in many of the countries. So it doesn't need to be run by the government. It has to be a business solution, and we go and create opportunity for people, and we can take thousands of people and create little entrepreneurs that go out and look for the plastic. Well, oh my gosh, there wouldn't be any plastic in the garbage if we provided an opportunity for people to make a true living out of it. And that's my direction. That's what we're trying to do. And then, so we just take it a step back. And again, so our trademark, social plastic. So, if I have I won't name names, but let's say company X, let's say global company X, and they're having trouble connecting with their consumer because the consumer today demands that corporations are sustainable and, there's clarity and everything else. And they know that their customer will identify with them when they are using sustainable products like social plastic, like a plastic that was harvested from ocean-bound waterways by the world's disadvantaged. It's such a great story. It's so important. It allows the consumer to make a decision to clean the world through their purchasing. And so the brand X knows that. Now, the great part is that brand X's competitor, brand Y, doesn't want brand X to do that. Brand Y wants to do it. So now it becomes competitive for that social plastic.
Yeah.
And that's the idea. So it's a business solution so that both brand X and both brand Y both know that they've got to serve their customer by going out and being social and by keeping the environment from being polluted. Because what will happen is that brand X one day, as we build out plastic banks, and let's say there's 1,000 plastic bank locations, brand X will be able to go in and let's say they take over the naming rights and they brand all those locations. Their story gets to say that they are cleaning the world of brand Y's mess.
Yeah.
So
it's good PR.
Right, it's good PR, right? And it's competitive. Yeah. And so I'm going to make a competitive environment for people to create an opportunity that they have to clean the environment. It's not an option anymore because they will just lose the hearts of the consumer. It's all story. And I think I've approached it from a logical business approach.
Oh yeah. I definitely think there's opportunity on every level to tackle this and effectively. Do you know what I mean? So like you're saying with the kind of entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, recycling the plastic, and then on a country level, maybe a larger recycling melt or whatever it is. And then on a global level, with the world leaders deciding that, plastic is outlawed. Right. Yeah. Like consumable plastic. So you can't, there should be no such thing as consumable plastic. Do you know what I mean? So you should, be made out of, something else that can be reused or whatever.
It has to be. I think that here's going to be a little bit of a controversial statement. I love plastic. I think plastic's fantastic. I think that what should be outlawed is the disposal of plastic. Use plastic. Fantastic. Plastic is so great. It's lighter. It's versatile. It's everything else. But if you throw it away, that's against the law because it is worth such high value. So that'll make people think about it differently and recycle it more. And that's great. Like recycle the petroleum that we have in the world. I think if we outlawed it, it would also diminish the opportunity for us to go and recapture the 8 trillion pounds of plastic that are sitting on the earth. So you just can't throw it away anymore and create an incentive for people to go and find the plastic that's been buried.
100%. So I was just thinking, do you know who would be like amazing to have on your board as an advisor or even, to help you tackle this problem is Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely a gentleman that thinks outside the box. Yeah. And on a global macro, well, I mean, he's put, his goal is to put someone on Mars, isn't it? So
totally, yeah. And Michael Bloomberg as well. I mean, there's a lot of great people that have reached levels of success in their life where they recognize now that legacy, truth, and life is doing well for others. We'll get there. And podcasts like this make a big difference. You never know who's listening to what.
Oh, 100%. And have you reached out to some of these? I've seen you had a Vampire Diaries gentleman.
Yeah,
which is great.
It's kind of fun, It's fun when Hollywood gets involved a little bit, right? So that's
get the word out,
right? Get the word out. That's right. Exactly. So that's that. Yeah, it's all coming, and we continue to build out our process, and we continue to build out. The system to do it. We continue to build out the way to implement in a country and into a city, into a community, and into a university. And there's, we continue to get creative on it. Like I've got a nice friend who's passionate about social entrepreneurship as well, and she's built a clinic in Nepal. Well, okay, great, beautiful clinic because people didn't have medical care or access to medical care. But great, there's a clinic, but now nobody can afford it. And so she can't afford to continue sustaining the clinic. But if we contemplate it, because really what I'm trying to do is just monetize waste plastic. So, and same problem in Nepal, lots of garbage everywhere. Well, great, add a plastic bank location so that people can go save up plastic, save up their plastic, save up the plastic of their community, and then use that to pay for medical care. That's the idea. It's just to monetize it and to have people realize that, yes, it's a money as well. And I think if around the world we show people that plastic is worth money, we'll get all kinds of other creative ideas.
It seems like there's an opportunity for, some heavy hitters out there, so the kind of billionaire level, to come in and literally put, a plastic bank in, some of a huge location where the problem is.
Totally.
And then just start, banking all the plastic into money with one of these machines.
Yeah, it's profitable too. And you don't even have to do it. I mean, you just take the plastic and then ship it to the facility. That you don't have to have one of the machines everywhere.
Oh, really?
No, not at all. Just put it into a container and ship it. Like, it's not that bad. Container holds 40,000 pounds. Like, it's not. 40,000 pounds. Yeah, 20 ton.
20 ton. Okay.
Per container, right? It's a lot of plastic out of the environment, right?
Yeah. I mean,
right.
It's a start. It starts about 300,000 tons of plastic in the ocean. That's for sure.
There's more than that. Millions.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. So, and so yeah, there's solutions. I don't know. We'll keep figuring it out. Like, and maybe there's facilities, locally already that can recycle some of the material. Lots of it should be turned into fabric for clothing even. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can be done with it. All kinds. All kinds. We've just, I think what happened was that, out of my study, like I conclude to myself, really, I conclude that we were, that we got to a position where we were told and we began to believe and learn that consuming was important for everybody. In essence, that we were really made to become consumers, right? And thereby we found some things we were willing to show as being very, very inexpensive or not worth much, so that we would continue consuming. And so that it became an addiction of society that plastic is worthless, and it's not. Like, and I know we're changing. We're getting to a tipping point where we're going to start having people see that, wait a second, plastic is great and it's worth tons of money, and we should really be in a position where it's, that it's at such a price point that manufacturing doesn't have an option but to use it, and that people don't have an option but to go and collect it, and that people would never think about throwing away dollar bills. So why would they go and throw away plastic?
Well, I can't thank you enough, David, for coming on the show. It's been truly insightful. And what other things, to wrap up, what other things that our kind of listeners can do to kind of help, drive the momentum forward with what you're doing at plasticbank.org? What can we do to assist, in helping sort of this global plastic problem out?
Thank you for that. I think that's important, and I think that's always should be, there's always got to be an actionable of some sort. Well, first off, for us, go to plasticbank.org. We got a petition there. Ultimately, it's a Facebook page that shows that you demand that corporations use social plastic. Critically important, so that we can exhibit to the right companies that, look, there's millions of people asking you to not use virgin plastic anymore, and that we're asking you to use social plastic. Again, business solution. Up and above that, and I was just having a discussion today that I'm really endeavoring to be very zero waste in my life, and I look at everything and I make sure that everything gets recycled, and I'm trying to use less, and you know what, I try not to use plastic cutlery. I carry my own bamboo spork with me. I look at things as being very valuable, and I think that it begins with everybody to look at everything around you, not just plastic, the paper, the metal, everything, and know straws especially, and know that it has extremely high value, and that it's not to be wasted. Because when you act in life in a way that you think things are waste, everything else will become wasteful, especially money and everything else. And that's really kind of a precipice to becoming wealthy in life, and to be able to have the other things that you want, is you need to value the things. And when you act in a wasteful way, I could argue that you probably won't get a lot of other value in your life. You won't find the wealth in your life because you don't see it as being wealthy.
Thank you very much, David. And for all the listeners out there, we're gonna feature David in the ECOTIMES magazine.
Awesome.
Which is on iTunes, so it's on the iPad and iPhone, and the link will be in the description. So thank you again, David, for coming on the show. Look forward to having you back on the show. So we'll definitely get you back.
Thank you.
And stay in touch.
You rock for having the show as well, by the way. It's awesome.
Thank you very much. Take care, David.
Okay, Alexander.
Thank you very much for enjoying our EcoTimes magazine podcast. We'd like to tell you all the platforms we're on. So we're on SoundCloud, We're on Stitcher, which is for Android. If you've got Android phone, you can download a Stitcher, which is a podcast app, and get the Eco Times podcast on there. We're on iTunes, so you can get it on your iPhone and iPad and all your Apple devices. And we're on TuneIn as well. And we're on YouTube. So please subscribe to whichever platform works best for you. And thank you very much for listening. We want to say a big thank you very much to Eco Times magazine for sponsoring the podcast. They are a weekly magazine, cover everything green. So if you're interested in growing your own food, renewable energy, amazing eco resorts, eco gadgets, basically anything green, how to build your own home, tiny houses, eco transport, organic food, anything green really. Big thank you to them. And please check them out. The links be below, and it's on the Apple newsstand, so you'll be able to get it on your iPad and iPhone. Thank you and have a great day.